So, we went to a strip club this last weekend
Indeed,
because
indeed.
we've been hearing about this place on the radio for a long time that apparently had good burgers and had good girls.
The best burger in town, even.
And this is where the girls are, as they say. So, after years about joking about this place, we finally decided to go because it was one of our friend's birthdays, and he's like, we're going to go for my birthday. And we go, and it turns out to be pretty much just a strip club. However, Blueberry did order the burger, so...
It did. It was actually really
It's
decent.
time for a Blue Feeds bonus. Give us a full in-depth review of that redacted burger.
It took a hot minute to get to me. I was worried for a moment that it was gonna be like fucking cold and shit.
We had drinks, we had women on our laps, and Steven was just asking for his damn burger.
It's
True, the birthday boy literally had his dick smashed, and she touched...
Right next to Blueberry.
Yeah,
It's so funny.
Blueberry was taking a very defensive posture as our friend had a girl bouncing up and down on his crotch.
I had my
Before
leg-
that, when he was sitting next to me, she like touched his leg once and then touched it again, and she's like, "Why do your pants feel wet?" So presumably he cummed himself immediately on female interaction.
He drank
But yeah,
too much. He pissed his pants.
yeah. Then a lot happened. He got a couple lap dances, VIP. It was fun. I did not interact with anybody, but I laughed a lot.
The three of us were just sitting there having a good time watching our friends do nonsense.
Yeah, like our friend Cody at GooberGod69 was up at the front where the pole dance is, and the girl was like shaking her booty up at him as he's dropping money, and then he turns around and does like this.
Covers his mouth.
Yeah, it covers his mouth like the
Laughing dog.
sure.
Okay.
I was gonna say the girl like the painting of the girl with her underwear getting pulled by the dog, and she's like,
the fucking the sun lotion person.
sun lotion, thank
Yeah.
you. So yeah, Cody turns around like that as the girl just bouncing her ass in front of him. He's a real comedic genius. Go follow him on Twitch, Twitter, fun stuff. GooberGod69. Anyway, do your official Blue Feeds burger intro. I'll try to do like a cool music intro or something.
Okay, do the Rich Alvarez.
Sure, I'll do it over
You
that.
sounded so upset. You just sure. But anyway.
That's because I was gonna say a Kevin MacLeod song, but that is a Kevin MacLeod song, so.
It works out. So let's see here. I was worried at first that it would be fucking cold because it took a while to get to me. I ordered it immediately after sitting down, and it took, I think, 15-20 minutes. She said it would only take 10. But when it arrived, it was fucking piping hot. Like, the fries were actually fresh and everything like that. They were actually homemade fries, and the fries were really good. And then the burger itself was also really decent. It actually tasted like it was grilled, which is shocking. Like,
Yeah, I have no clue where they fit a actual kitchen in that establishment.
right.
It was a huge burger too.
Oh yeah, it was a fat fucking patty, and it was cooked well. It wasn't so cooked that it was charred on the outside or anything like that. It was loaded, like it came with plenty of toppings. I chose to just eat them individually and then eat the burger itself because I didn't want to fucking deal with it falling all over the place while fucking women are plapping next to me.
Yeah, in a very dull, very blue room with little lighting.
It was very dark. We couldn't, our menu was a menu you were supposed to scan with a QR code on the table, but it was so dark we were like holding our phone lights up to it trying to scan it, and we couldn't scan it.
Right, exactly.
Thankfully, you knew you just wanted the burger, so it was like,
Yeah, I just picked up the written menu. I was like, "Where's the blank burger?" And then it was like on the front page. It's like, it comes with fries, perfect. Then our fucking little honey waitress comes up to us. This blonde girl with like a corset. All the waitresses wore corsets, and she had glasses on. She was really nice. She was a hard worker. Like, she was fucking. You could tell she had a lot of tables. She was running all over the place. But
Yeah, she was on it more than any other female in that establishment.
absolutely.
I felt bad because as soon as we got in, you paid like the entry fee, and she was like there waiting to like for our whole group together, but she was like half all of our height, so
Right.
it was just like while you and either Nick or Elias, I forget who, was like like the tail end of the line. We were just waiting, and all four of us were just like towering over this poor blonde woman.
You guys are all like 6 feet or so.
Yeah,
so
none
we're
of
fairly
us
tall.
and none of us were looking to socialize at the moment, so we were all just standing there quietly. She was just like has to wait. It felt really weird.
We were all just ingesting the subtle clapping of cheeks fucking from all four corners of the establishment, and this girl's like trying to talk to us, do her like business and whatnot, and we're like, give us a minute.
I guess we should say none of us have actually been to a strip club, and despite like media and everything, we really didn't know what to expect out of it.
Yeah.
I will say it was like classier than I expected it to be, despite most of the chairs having like rips in them from ass abuse, I can only imagine.
Big. Pretty
But-
big. Had actual food. It was
Mhm.
fine.
Oh yeah.
Very freaking expensive to exist there.
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had to go in, and it's a $10 entry fee, but it's cash only, and I'm usually just card because it keeps me from having more change in my fucking my cup holders in my car. But nonetheless, you go in, and they're like, okay, well, you can get like a 20 out of the ATM over there, and they point you to the ATM, and they let you pass to go get money, and then you come back. But what I didn't know before the fucking, before I did my entry fee was that ATM charges $10 to use. So I essentially got $20, and I paid $10 for that 20. So I effectively paid like $20 to get in.
Mm-hmm.
And then you buy the burger.
And then
you
I bought
tip
the
women.
burger, then I tipped the women, and then I bought drinks.
Yeah, you did keep buying Diet Cokes. You said keep them coming, honey.
I bought two, it's okay.
Yeah, but overall, it was a pretty fun time.
Yeah,
Glad we got out.
I don't feel the need to go back, but I'm glad I got to experience it finally.
Yeah, same. If I ever go back to a strip club, I want it to be a really nice place.
Mm.
That was like nice for where we live, which wasn't super nice.
Mm.
Yeah, it's too party oriented for me. It's just like it's one of you go to a place like that and it just looks like nobody's having fun, but they're still just dropping dollars on women with the blankest of expressions.
Some people were
Yeah.
having fun.
Some people
Oh, yeah.
were,
Our-
but a lot of
our
people.
birthday boy was having a blast.
Yeah, but a
I
lot of-
know firsthand.
Yeah, a lot of people there just didn't seem like I don't know what they're getting out of it because they have the blankest expression on their faces. They drop dollars on the pole dancer, and then when they like follow a woman back to the VIP room, they always have a slouched posture,
Mm.
like they're so weak and defeated, knowing they're giving up all their money for this funny dance.
They're-
Probably just shy or introverted people that are getting out this way.
It's true.
yeah, that's how I friggin' was that entire time. Like, holy shit. Because,
It's
like,
true. We tried to get you up on the dance floor.
I think it was just probably too much. You probably weren't expecting.
I get overwhelmed very easily in situations like this, and it's one of those things where, like, this is very much my domain of things. I love I'm in the hentai industry, so of course, like, I've seen this shit before, but at the same time, too, the whole party-oriented shit isn't
Mhm.
my scene, so it's like...
And it was
Very
like a
conflicting.
Saturday night at the biggest club in our area, so it was pretty freaking nuts. The people like on top of each other popping bottles and shit. It was
Yeah.
wild.
Popping
And
bottles.
The place we got seated at was right next to this like special area where there was like a bachelor party or something going on, and
There was so much money on the floor that
Holy
it just
shit.
looked
Yeah.
like a money carpet.
yeah, it was like a little like cubby room with like two walls for like two benches on each side, so there's plenty of room for people to sit and watch asses jiggle and stuff. But they were just
yeah.
going wild back there. People like. For some reason, it didn't cross me that people can just smoke inside those places.
Just
And
reeking,
boy, were
of,
they.
reeking of drugs and alcohol
Mhm.
feet away from us.
The woman who's fucking sitting on Birthday Boy's penis the entire time. Like, there was one
She
time...
fucking smashed it.
She
went and
smashed it. She went...
boom, boom, boom with her ass. And he was like,
It's
whoa.
true. It was fucking...
You could like see
She
it
was.
reverberating on Bluebeard's face.
It's true. You could see my cheeks jiggle from, like, the impact.
Well, he was sitting like
Your
within-
cheeks jiggle from her cheeks.
He was sitting inches within the birthday boy, so when she started slapping
Mhm.
his freaking dick off, he was just like Leaning back in the seat.
Yeah, you had a very defensive posture the whole time.
I had my legs crossed and I had my hands under my pits like Andre the Giant. I was like, oh, good God.
You did look pretty baller though, because you dressed nice, and you were like not with it. You were in your own space.
True. I sat in a decent place because like I saw where the attention spots were. I was like, no, no.
Yeah, you got to stay away from the corners if you're not looking to get that bouncing bubble butt, that trampoline booty.
Oh, that trampoline booty. There we go.
Anyways, we should get into the fan fiction. This
Yeah,
is a bonus
that's
episode.
fun. Yeah, that's true. This is probably gonna be a fairly long bonus now. But yeah, pretty fun overall. I had a good time. I tried to spend as little money as possible.
I had a blast, and if Birthday Boy's drunken words are true, we'll see it next year maybe.
Yeah.
So if you've listened to our latest episode on My Hero Academia Part 3, I believe, we sort of teased that the last story we read had a follow-up to it, which I am going to read right now to give you or I'll just read this. They have a very nice author's note that should get everybody up to speed. So, if you remember, this came in a fever dream where I thought, what if Eddie did something to change the course of Toga's life? Eddie, as you may or may not know, is Eddie Brock of Spider-Man fame. We've chosen the headcanon of Topher Grace as Eddie Brock, because it's very funny.
From Spider-Man 3, he has Venom.
This is the result, also known as me trying to write romance content. Remember that I took some creative liberties about Toga's middle school life, since we know pretty much nothing about her from before the League of Villains. Chapter 1 of the stories and one shot is going to be found on the other page of my
makes me
story.
laugh my ass off about Topher Grace.
What?
Topher Grace, Eddie Brock. Just when I sit back and think of the fact that one of his lines, one of his moments in that movie was to pray to God to kill Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Please, God, kill Peter Parker.
I'm pretty sure that's actually in the comics.
I don't doubt it.
Sounds like
That's
yeah.
That's like the lowest point you can possibly go. Like when you're resulting to your fucking spiritualism to do the deal for you.
Alright, so here we go. Eddie sat in class the next day. The only thing on his mind, despite being in his favorite class, Quirk Studies, was the events of the day before, which can be read here, the link. And check out our last episode.
Imagine being the priest list in this quiet-ass church, then all of a sudden you just hear this whiny bastard in the front pew go, please kill Peter Parker!
Kill him! Kill him!
And then you hear the bell ringing and someone screaming. Just loud ripping sounds. Boom!
Ironic that Topher Grace got exorcised in this church.
Yeah, he said, "Dear God, let me kill Peter Parker," and then he got symbiote goop on him.
And he got ear damage from Peter Parker.
Let's see. He couldn't get Toga out of his head, nor the kiss they had shared. He touched his fingers to his lips gently and reflected over what had happened afterward, how he had carried her to her home and dropped her off, sharing one last parting kiss, and he had walked home with Toga's image burned into his mind. He snapped out of his daydream when the bell rang to switch classes, and he gathered his stuff to move to his next class and final class. As he entered the hallway to his final class, he hummed a song that he heard the day before under his breath. It may be midnight. As he reached the final class, he caught a glimpse of Toga and his heart rate went wild, bumping in his chest as he thought of her. However, his joy turned to anger when he saw one of the popular guys from another class. Upon examination, Eddie found out it was the one she had sent the love letter to, pointing his finger at Toga and laughing.
That bastard.
How dare he do this to true love? Seeing this made Eddie's blood boil, dropping his book bag safely on the ground.
Oh no.
Safely.
He's so angry as he gently takes his backpack off and puts it on the ground, and then marches over there.
Yeah.
He approached the kid and said, keeping his aggressive tone down, "What are you doing to that poor girl?" He could see the look of fear on Toga's face as the popular guy smirked and said, "Who, her? Nothing. Just reminding her that I'm way out of her league. What's it to you, Scarface?"
Dickhead.
I was thinking
Just reminding her she should never send me notes ever again, and I will never Cease to remind her of that.
Ratchet ass bitch fucking. Like, I'm just imagining, like, Izuku's, like, stopping her in the middle of a crime, and, like, he can't fucking understand what's going on. He's like, what are you doing to this poor girl? She's got a needle in fucking Deku's arm.
Giving the saku.
Yosh.
Eddie's anger slipped a bit. With rage ringing in his ears, he spat, "Meet me on the basketball court after school. I'm putting you down, you stuck-up bastard."
Damn.
The kid he was addressing grinned and replied smugly, "Sure, Scarface. Don't be late." I don't know why he's calling him Scarface. I don't recall Eddie Brock ever really having a scar across his face.
What's the name of the guy with burns on his body?
Dobby?
Dobby. What if it's just Dobby, but he's Eddie Brock?
It could be.
What if it's just Dobby, but he's Eddie Brock? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Dobby, but...
I love that.
Eddie's rage began to cool, and he immediately saw his mistake. "Oh shit, what did I just do?" However, Toga's affectionate kiss on the cheek she gave him made it worth it. He gently touched the spot, smiled, and headed to his next class. Without a word, he cummed his pants with black symbiote goo.
Yeah, coming out of your dick with black slime.
Eddie did the funny...
He web-slinged.
Eddie did the funny trick where he pretends he's jacking off, but then the fucking symbiote shoots out of his stomach, and he's like,
It's black?
You should get that checked out, Eddie. After his final class ended, he packed his book bag, gulped, shouldered his bag, and went outside to the basketball court of the school. He found the guy he had challenged standing there waiting, along with his two lackeys Eddie assumed were sort of a bodyguard. I can't believe we don't even know who this character is.
yeah.
They're just Toga's love interest.
Just this
I wonder what his
fucking...
quirk's gonna be.
Who knows? I bet it's Peter Parker or some crazy twist. Flash Thompson.
It's gonna be the Sandman.
Flint Marko.
Yeah.
Grown man.
It's gonna be...
I will never love you, you child.
It's Flint Marko, not from Spider-Man 3, versus Eddie Brock from Spider-Man 3.
So like PS1 Eddie Brock.
Yeah.
Hey Spider, what you doing around here?
I will never date you, lady.
I'm not a bad guy. Just in a bad way. Just caught up in bad things. I love that scene where Spider-Man punches a hole through Flint Marko and he just looks down like nothing happened.
Right. I like the scene where New Goblin melts him into glass and then smashes him with his skateboard.
Holy shit.
His skateboard.
That's what it is.
I remember as a kid thinking New Goblin was the coolest fucking shit.
I still think he's cool, like, conceptually, but just his costume reeks.
It's just like I get the idea, like he's building up, but he's not really like the super villain motif. He's just like being practical, I guess, which is a
Right.
cool idea.
He's-
but the
he's-
skateboard is very goofy,
Yeah.
and Harry Osborn is just a bad villain.
Yeah,
He's
like,
bad at being a bad guy.
I like the concept of him, like, somehow completing the Goblin formula so it doesn't fuck with his head. Like, that's actually really cool that he would, like, continue his dad's work just to have a neutralizer so Spider-Man doesn't fucking completely outstrength him. But then he comes in with his fucking skateboard and turns Sandman into fucking glass.
Then Peter Parker holds up a funny bar, and then Harry bonks his head on it.
And then the kid in the crowd goes, cool!
God, we
We
gotta
have to
watch
rewatch
these
these
movies.
movies. They're so funny.
Play next week.
Oh god, we need that's like a whole day.
Oh yeah,
activity.
true.
We could watch like one at a time, but they still take like an hour and a half.
I want to do like all three in a row. We can't just take a
Oh,
break.
okay.
Oh,
We can
Lord.
stream that. It'd be
No, you can't.
transformative.
We gotta all
You
be
can't
on the couch.
stream Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, which they sell on every digital platform.
People stream that kind of stuff on Twitch all the time.
They do like watch-alongs where it's just them watching it, but there's nothing on screen.
We
Which
could
I
do
don't.
that.
That's oh god, where was I? Eddie sighed internally and dropped his book bag safely outside the court. He's got something nice in that backpack. He does not want to let it touch ground.
Mm.
He entered wearing gym shorts and a loose t-shirt, preparing himself for a fight.
A hood fight.
Toga tried her best not to cry as she watched Eddie, her newfound love, walk presumably to his doom in the school basketball court. She sat hidden in a tree overlooking the court, thinking over what had happened. This boy, who had probably been downtrodden his whole life, had saved her from making the worst mistake of her life and asked for nothing in return. It made Toga's heart warm with joy to think that he had taken a chance on her and gotten to know her, and loved her for who she was. But the fight that was about to happen, that Toga felt she had caused, made her feel like she was unworthy all over again. She knew that the boy Eddie was about to brawl with had a fire-based quirk, which made it dangerous for Eddie to fight him. Symbiotes hate fire, that sucks.
Right.
But he made the decision, not Toga, so she waited and prayed that he would be okay, so she could be with him afterward.
I think if Eddie can get one clean kick in his stomach, he's done for.
I can't believe she thinks this bully is actually going to kill Eddie Brock and the school basketball court. And like he's fucking going to murder him. Like when little brother's under the cupboard and he goes, "Daddy's gonna kill Ralphie." And then he's got soap in his mouth. As Eddie entered the court, his heart beat with a mixture of adrenaline and fear. His thoughts were a mess of randomness and anger and fear, and his internal monologue, which he had named Venom, said, "You made a dumbass mistake, Eddie. You made dumb mistakes before, but this one tops them all. What's your plan, you idiot?" Eddie, I don't like that voice. I'm going to do a different voice for Venom from here on.
No wonder he calls him Venom. He's mean.
He should call him Toxic.
Got him.
That's a Spider-Man joke. There's a symbiote spawn named Toxic. Or Toxin. I think it's Toxic.
Yeah,
It's like the one that comes after Carnage, but unrelated to the separation anxiety.
I think it's Toxin.
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 Well, we still high-fived, so it's too late.
Either way.
Eddie sometimes swore the voice in his head was an actual voice, since it wasn't his own voice. He replied shortly, "Beat this stuck-up bastard up and hopefully not get killed." Venom chuckled in Eddie's head and continued, "He has a fire quirk. Remember what our weakness is? Fire! And sonic waves, but that's not the concern here." Eddie gulped and sighed.
I'm glad William Dafoe came back to play Venom.
Finish it!
Finish it!
Hopefully he doesn't figure that out. He approached the student he had challenged and said, "Let's get this over with." The guy chuckled and said, "You're gonna regret this, punk. You challenged Naruto Suzumaki, son of Boruto Suzumaki, wielder of the Hellfire quirk and prodigy of life. So, are you ready to be pummeled?"
What a fucking title for yourself.
No, Naruto, son of Boruto,
Suzumaki, wielder of the Hellfire quirk and prodigy of life. Are you ready to be pummeled?
Horikoshi make a parody of Naruto to be an asshole?
Yes.
Prodigy of life.
Hellfire quirk. Isn't that Dobby's quirk?
I think
But
so.
no, that's Endeavor's quirk.
Oh yeah, that's right.
His quirk is literally called Hellfire. He stole it from Endeavor.
Endeavor went through a phase.
Unless Endeavor's named Boruto Suzumaki.
He's going through his ninja phase. He's probably wearing his little headband right now.
God, he would look so bad. His head is so thick. I hope you didn't Google Boruto Suzumaki.
No,
It's not real.
no, it's not real.
I'm Googling Endeavor with a headband.
Eddie sighed at his monologue and replied agitatedly, Sure, let's just get this done so I can go home." Naruto's eyes narrowed. "No one has dared to disrespect me before. Destroying you will be especially pleasurable." Eddie sighed again, this time at Naruto's excessive use of upper-class language, and said, "Just never mind." He backed. What? What?
I looked up a
Bowling?
picture. I looked up Endeavor Naruto, and it's Endeavor bowling with his
His
daughter,
children.
yeah, his kids cowering in the background.
That's a pretty good shot. I love the angle.
I do
That's
love
an
Dad.
appropriate dynamic for him.
I love Daddy Endeavor.
Let's see. He backed away a few feet and got into a fighting stance using Krav Maga techniques he had seen on television.
Oh my god!
And said, "Are we gonna do this or what?" He's gonna
Maga.
fucking beat his ass.
There's so much
That he saw on TV. So unpracticed Krav Maga.
Spell that.
KRAV space MAGA. Krav Maga.
A.V. Krav Maga. Oh my god.
Krav Make America Great Again.
Oh my god. There's a Krav Maga school near us.
Yes, it's a real thing.
Krav Maga is an Israeli martial art.
This picture, I looked up Krav Maga, and one of them is a picture of a white dude punching an Asian.
Great.
Holy shit.
Naruto snarled a bit, surprising Eddie, and replied angrily, "You will learn what it means to disrespect House Sozumaki." His hand ignited in flame, and he threw it at Eddie. Eddie ducked swiftly and extended a tentacle, colliding with Naruto's chest and sending him flying backward. He hit the wall of the court and landed
Nice.
roughly, coughing. However, he redoubled his attack, this time sending 2 balls of flame Eddie's way.
Oh no.
Eddie ducked again, but felt the heat singe him and coughed. "That's bad." He launched another tentacle Naruto's way, but this time Naruto dodged and threw another flame ball at Eddie. Eddie didn't duck in time, and the flame collided with him head on. It wasn't hot enough to permanently injure him, but it hurt like hell and took him some time to use symbiote's healing. He winced in pain, not seeing Naruto's charge him until he had him pinned to the ground in a chokehold, his flame in hand. Eddie struggled to breathe, but found his air pipe blocked by the chokehold. His vision started going dark, and he thought to himself, "So, I really lost. I got overconfident and made a challenge I couldn't win." However, he flicked his eyes toward the tree overlooking the court and saw Toga watching them from the tree, tears in her eyes. Seeing her pained gaze filled him with a burning fire, and despite not being able to breathe, he managed to choke out the words, "Let me." Before he said the last word, a tentacle creeped its way around Naruto subtly, wrapping itself around his arm that was choking Eddie, and squeezed, cutting off circulation. As Naruto's flame extinguished and his grip loosened, Eddie finished his command, "Go!" He backflipped twice. He backflipped out of the way and away from Naruto, extending 2 tentacles towards him and wrapping him tightly, preventing him from escaping or activating his quirk. Bringing him closer, Eddie said in the most aggressive tone he had ever spoken in, "If you don't stay out of the way of me or that beautiful, perfect girl, that one in the tree up there, you see her? Don't bother. The last thing you will see is the most nightmarish creature you could ever imagine. Got it, soy boy?"
Let's go, Eddie!
Yeah.
Naruto nodded, fear in his eyes, as Eddie released him.
I'd be afraid too. I'm a freak.
Naruto turned and ran. His lackeys followed him. Eddie put a hand on his head, massaging his temple, and didn't see Toga running up to him until she caught him dead in the chest as he jumped on him, hugging him. Eddie was caught off guard and fell, holding Toga gently, and hit the ground. Toga quickly asked, "I'm so sorry. Are you okay?" Eddie smiled, a bit winded, and he cradled her on the ground. "I'm okay, Toga. I really am." He hugged her tightly and kissed her cheek. "Guess what? He won't be bothering us again for a while." Toga looked up at him. "Really?" Eddie smiled gently and nodded. "Yes, I made sure of it." Toga smiled back and asked softly and tentatively, Can you call me baby girl? Or just baby? It makes me feel safe." "What's wrong?"
It makes her feel what?
"Safe."
Okay.
Eddie's normally cold heart melted at her request. Of course I will, baby. He tested the word baby, getting the feel of it. Needless to say, it felt good. Toga burrowed her head into his chest as they sat together, cuddling gently as Eddie stroked her hair softly as they cuddled.
Toga burrowed a hole into the ground.
About 20 minutes later, Eddie nudged her gently, signaling her to get up. They sat in the basketball court for 20 minutes, Eddie oozing black slime, all the while dripping with nervousness.
Oh my god.
This is a much longer bonus than I wanted it to be.
Alright, I think that's
No,
fine.
no, it's almost over. But still, I'm just winded. This room is so hot. But we're almost done. She did so, stretching and sighing cutely. Eddie stood up with her, cracked his neck like a chiropractor, and said, "Let me walk you home, baby."
Damn, Eddie's fucking Chad all of a sudden. Calling people soy boys and cracking his neck and holding this baby for 20 minutes in this court.
Don't go check this out. I can pop my T2 and 2-3.
Ow. Toga nodded and let him take her hand gently, walking her to her home. As they reached Toga's house, from which Eddie could hear muffled yelling, Toga turned to Eddie and softly kisses his lips. "Thank you again, babe. I really appreciate you standing up for me." Eddie smiled as she kissed him, whispering in her ear softly, "I love you. Be safe, okay?" This story legitimately warms my heart because this is just high school romance to a T. How quick it is, how snappy it is. They're just going into it.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Toga nodded as she let go of his hand and walked inside, smiling at Eddie as she closed the door behind her. Eddie sighed happily and walked home again alone, his mind whirling. He had beaten one of the strongest boys in his school, despite his quirk being one of Eddie's fatal weaknesses, and he had walked his lover home safely. He was as happy as he could be. When he got back to his house, his parents were baffled by his happy attitude, as he was normally very stoic and apathetic toward them. He went to bed immediately after dinner that night and dreamed wonderful dreams about himself and Toga, not knowing their story was just beginning. Toga's father was shouting as usual, "Where were you? Who was that boy you were with? Were you out late again?"
No.
No.
Toga's dad is Mr. Incredible.
She's actually Violet. Toga kept silent as years of this had taught her that her father didn't actually want an answer and would eventually cool off, forget about it, and find something else to yell
That
about.
sounds like Bob.
Bob's gonna stomp down the stairs and fucking jab his finger through Eddie's chest.
As usual, her father got off the topic of Eddie and was yelling about something different, something not concerning Toga. She went to her room and laid down, tired but happy.
Yelling at himself.
It's in a mirror.
God damn it, I burned the ham again!
He's like, alright, time to go to my room.
No better time than the present.
He's making a fucking weird sausage for a new video.
He fucking dents his oven.
Ordinary
Kicks
sausage
it really
Bob.
hard. There's just a big dent in the metal door going inward.
Will it blow? Damn it!
He shoots it blows a hole through his wall. God, what a reach we just did. Dreaming of Eddie and herself ending up together, growing older and staying close forever, not knowing their intertwined destinies had only just begun. Well, there you have it. The fever dream has become an actual story, and I have done my best to write romance/love content. I promise in the next chapter some real action will happen and the story will get exciting. In the meantime, thanks a lot for sticking with my insanities given written form and published on here. I appreciate it, and it makes me feel good knowing that people enjoy what I do. I got the hiccups at the end there. Yay! I really liked that story. I sure laughed a lot at it, but it genuinely made my heart pine for simpler times.
It was fun.
I rate that story a Topher Grace with black ooze coming out of his pants. A vicious black ichor.
I rate that Endeavor getting beaten in the heat of battle and turning around and Naruto running away.
I rate that my Valentine's story, but instead at the end, Peter Parker shoots black goo instead of white. Tune into our Valentine's episode to watch that.
Bonus over!